Real quick before we get started, welcome everybody to the world premiere reading of the Exile the Healer. I am so freaking excited about this. Yay! So, yeah. Hi. I don't know what I'm doing.
We got this. We got this.
Okay. No, this is going to be a lot of fun. First of all, I want to say a huge thank you to this amazing cast. They already know my love for them, but I'm going to say it again because y'all are amazing. And thank you for being willing to help me with this cool little project. It's been really fun. So, should we introduce our characters? That probably seems like a good idea.
Probably a good idea.
Hey, that sounds like a good idea.
Let's keep them guessing.
Yeah, that's right. People guessing. Huh?
Well,
Yeah.
I guess
All
I'm
right.
first on the list.
Yeah, we can go in whatever order you guys want to go in. We could go from order of appearance in the show. We could go whatever. You guys go ahead.
Why don't we just go in order of the cast of characters on the sheet?
Exactly, that was my thought.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Hello, my name's Frederick Rains. I'm a man in my late 40s, early 50s. I'm the Watchman of the Kieran family.
Hello, I am Isteria Kieran. I'm a woman in her early 20s. I am the daughter of Vikor Keiran.
Hello there. I am Zsolt Ferryson. I am a man in my early 20s. I am the leader of the treetops, and I am a witty, charming sad boy.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
All right.
Love
That is
so
glorious.
much. You have no idea.
I am Miss Alda Greenleaf, and I'm a woman in her early 60s, resident of the treetops, and clearly gonna have to keep my boy Zsolt in line. That's what I do usually.
Hello.
This is true.
I'm Commander Dante Jirek, man in his 50s, head of the Peacekeepers, and I'll be your villain.
Villain for this evening. I love it.
I was not prepared for that because I was prepared for your normal introduction.
I wasn't sure if I was supposed to do my normal introduction or not.
Amazing.
Love it. Love it so much.
And last but certainly not least.
Now we've got two more.
Oh no.
Victor.
No. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I can't read.
Ruth, you write. Jeez. You should be able to read.
Sometimes the words.
It could be used like a voice prompt
They
thing.
make sense.
That's fair.
Is this generated through medieval night GPT?
Medieval
Something to tell us, Ruth.
Yes.
Anyway, back to the
Anyway.
introductions of characters.
So, I am Vikor Keiran. I'm a man in his 40s and the trade counselor of the Slonian Council. And very stern and very strict, but there's a heart in there somewhere, I promise.
Gotta find it.
Yeah, have to dig a little bit, you know.
I am Moira Lamont, ageless, classy, law counselor of the Slonian Council. I think that's it.
And
That was
I'm
good.
Ruth. Hi. I'm going to be your kind of
Hi,
narrator. Hi.
Hello,
And I'm also
hello,
going
Ruth.
to be doing some various parts, as well as Kiki's going to be reading some other various parts that we just didn't have people to read for them because they were just short little things. So, are you ready to get this started, guys?
Oh wait, I have a question.
Absolutely. What?
All right.
Wait.
Why didn't
Question.
Like
Yeah.
grunt noises, or I'm older, so I have lots of parts where I saw that I made
Yeah.
certain noises.
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
Sure.
I just want to make
Sure.
sure.
Listen,
Okay.
you if there is something you want to throw in there because it feels right for the character, go for it. Just go for it.
I'm gonna try not to scream because I might
that's
freak out
fine.
my dog and my cats and my husband.
No, listen, that kind of stuff, obviously okay.
Yeah.
Screaming, just go like, You're at the dentist. You know?
Guys, this is serious.
The most composed scream ever. Ah.
This is so serious. This is
So
Just scream in lowercase, it's fine.
Oh my god.
H.
Okay. To be conscientious of time for our European friends, we should probably get started.
Let's get started.
Hope you brought some snacks. You're chilled out for this evening, and enjoy. So, the Exile and the Healer, Scene 1. The scene opens on a forest road in early afternoon. A covered carriage travels down this road. Inside, Isteria sits with Frederick. Across from her, Isteria reads from a book while Frederick watches out the window.
I thought you were returning home for the summer holidays. Here you are, studying away. Put down the book and enjoy the views.
Isteria looks up from her reading with a smile.
I will once we return home. This trip is always so long and boring.
What? My company's not entertaining enough for you?
I did not say that. I am most gratified for your company. It will be good to be home. How has father been?
Go ahead, sorry.
Do it.
Do it.
Isn't one of his busy seasons, you know. Let's help keep our first lawn running.
You did not answer the question.
The carriage slows to a stop. Frederick returns to his position by the window, opening the curtain just slightly to scan the area. An arrow suddenly lands right near his head, into the side of the carriage. He dives for Isteria to shield her, and bangs on the side of the carriage.
Move!
The driver cracks the reins, and the carriage goes sprinting down the road. At that speed, Isteria and Frederick are tossed around in the interior. He holds on to Isteria to keep her safe from danger. Suddenly, the carriage comes to a screeching halt. A flash of motion, and the driver crashes to the ground. Isteria and Frederick sit perfectly still in moments of panic.
When I say run, run. Do not look back.
Frederick.
Just stay close to me.
Frederick quietly exits the carriage, the sword and hand axe drawn at his side. Isteria follows, holding a small bag to her chest, and they start running. Shouts and footsteps follow Frederick and Isteria. Arrows land in nearby trees. A camera zooms in as Frederick's hand slips out of Isteria's as he crumbles to the ground. 2 arrows in his body. He glances up at her.
I'll hold them off as long as I can. Follow the road. Get back to the city.
I am not leaving you.
Go!
Frederick rises to meet the last of the bandits, and Isteria bolts down the road ahead. Sounds of battle grow faint as Asteria's heart pounds in her chest. She rounds a corner. She stops for a moment to catch her breath. A rustling calls to her attention. A bandit drops down in front of her path. A scream escapes Asteria's lips. She begins to back away from the bandit. Her hands grab her bag tightly. Her foot catches a root. Stumbling backwards, Asteria lands flat on her back. She begins to dig through her bag for anything that she could use to defend herself. The bandit slowly approaches. The flash of a blade hits sunlight. Shook! The snap of a bowstring echoes throughout the woods. Asteria watches as the bandit falls over, an arrow lodged in his neck. Asteria stumbles backwards, her eyes fixate on the hooded figure lowering a bow. This figure rushes forward, the hood falls back as Zsolt hurries to Asteria. Asteria scrambles to her feet. He holds out a hand to her. Asteria yanks a vial of black liquid, brandishing it before Zsolt.
Do not come any closer.
And it's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. And you are not going to hurt me either.
How do you know that?
Because you're holding a bottle of ink.
Asteria glances at the bottle with a quizzical look. She reads the label as her face grows red. She quietly slips it into her bag. Zsolt offers his hand once more.
Let's go. This one's friends won't be far behind.
Asteria cautiously takes Zolt's hand. Asteria takes one last look towards where she last saw Frederick and sees smoke rising. She starts to turn back, but Zsolt stops her.
Frederick!
Don't. You they want. Let's go.
Zsolt pulls Asteria away, and the pair run deeper into the forest. Scene 2. Zsolt and Asteria hurry through the forest as the sun begins to slowly set. Zsolt stops by a stream and fills his water skin. He pulls back the hood and takes a drink. Asteria joins him at the creek side. He holds his water skin out to her.
Here. This heat is killer.
Asteria gingerly takes the skin and quickly takes several large sips. She hands it back to him. Zsolt takes a long drink before returning it to his side.
Thank you for your help back there.
The two quietly take in the forest scene. Birds chirping, creek rushing, smaller creatures scurrying.
You're welcome. My name's Zsolt, by the way.
I'm Isteria.
A small smile comes across Zolt's face. He picks up a stick and begins making a point at one end with a knife.
Do you think Frederick could have survived?
Who?
My Watchman guard. He's wounded, and he promised to take me home.
Well, I guess we'll have to work on that together then.
Why are you helping me? Looking for a reward?
Zsolt pauses his sharpening before answering.
No. I made an oath to help those in need. It would be dishonor not to act.
Oaths? Sound like a holy man.
Not quite. Well, we can make it to the treetops by nightfall.
The treetops?
Safest place in these woods. Don't want to get stuck here after night. Or what's happening this afternoon would be the last of your worries.
Who were those people?
Bandits. They're all along the road to the city. I'm assuming that's where you were headed.
What makes you think that?
Zsolt gives Asteria an incredulous look.
People that dress like you don't tend to hang out in the woods.
Perhaps I like to wander in the woods.
Sure. With an armed escort and a carriage with trunks attached to it? I think not.
Asteria stops and considers her new companion.
You are very observant.
A trait that I'm quite proud of. Now, if you just stay there one moment, I'm going to get us some dinner.
Zsolt carefully takes the sharpened branch and scans the water. In a flash, the improvised spear finds its catch, and a fish wriggles at the end of it. Zsolt turns to Asteria with a grin. Scene 3. Zsolt and Asteria continue their journey as the sun sets. Zsolt stops short of a tree line. He whistles. A whistle echoes back in return. Zsolt leads her into a clearing and gestures with one hand.
Welcome to the treetops.
Asteria steps inside a series of ramshackle huts set in a circle. Small children run past her while women congregate by a fire cooking food. Men chop wood and fix the small structures. Older boys and girls help the adults with the various chores. There's a sense of weariness on the face of the people.
Not much, but it's a place to rest your head.
Two children take note of Zolt's entrance and run to him. Zsolt waves.
You're back!
And with food!
Yes. Take this to the others. Hopefully this can make a couple of meals.
Yes, Zsolt.
Yes, Zsolt?
The children struggle at first, but take the fish over to the women cooking. Their eyes light up at the sight of the fish and nod to Zsolt.
Come on, you can stay with Alda and I. Hopefully, she's in a good mood today.
Zsolt leads Isteria towards a hut at the back of the ring of shelters.
Have these people always lived here?
Zsolt visibly stiffens at her question.
No, this is the work of the peacekeepers. They take their job quite literally. The council don't keep them in check. It has allowed them to have free reign.
These people...
Were chased out by the peacekeepers. Taxes too high. It was this or arrest.
Surely, if the council were told...
Listen, that might work for you, but not for us. It's not possible. Folks like them don't listen to folks like us.
They stop out in front of a small hut, a modest hut, that's starting to show wear and tear. Zsolt and Isteria enter. One open room is sectioned off by several pieces of fabric.
Hey, Alda.
That you, my boy?
Yes, ma'am, it's me.
Behind the fabric, a grunt is heard, followed by a series of crashing sounds. From the left side of the hut enters Alda, a woman about 60 to 65 years old, strong build but hunching with age, graying hair sticking out in all directions. Their eyes have begun to show signs of fatigue.
Though I swear by all the gods, and you are.
My name is Isteria, Madam Alda.
Madam? Well, it's been a while since someone called me Madam. Where did you find her?
On the road to the city.
No kidding. Well, Madam Isteria, I hope my Zsolt wasn't too much trouble. He has a knack for finding her.
Only a little.
I like her.
Zsolt smiles and shakes his head. Alda nods to them and heads out the door, mumbling as she goes.
She's quite the character.
Tell me about it. Here, you can have my side.
Zsolt parts the curtain to the right. Inside lays a small bedroll, a small chest of trinkets sits in a corner, desk covered, a pile of rags next to it.
It's not much, but
It's fine. Thank you.
once you're settled, come back out and join us. Dinner should be ready soon.
Thanks.
Zsolt leaves, leaving Isteria alone. She crumbles onto the bedroll, day's events finally catching up with her. She curls up into a ball and sobs. Her sobs are heard as the camera pans out from the room and onto Zsolt, who listens for a moment before leaving. Alda waits for Zsolt outside the hut.
What were you thinking, bringing a highborn lady here?
It's complicated, Alda.
Alda's eyes narrow in suspicion. Zsolt turns away, purposefully not making eye contact.
Zsolt, you are treading on extremely dangerous territory.
I couldn't let her die, or worse, at the hands of those bandits.
Don't forget what brought you here. Who do you think will come looking for her? And if they find this place?
By then, she'll be gone. This is the only safe place I could think to bring her.
I just hope you know what you're doing, Zsolt.
I do. I think.
You better be certain it's not just your life at stake.
Alda leaves with a huff while Zsolt stands watch over the hut. Scene 4. Back at the carriage fight scene the following morning. The peacekeepers, wearing their standard scarlet and gold uniforms, search through the wreckage. 2 peacekeepers are approached by a senior officer, surveying the scene.
Commander Jirek, it was an ambush. Everything inside the carriage was destroyed or taken.
Commander Jirek rises. Over his heart, a pin, the scales of justice rest, the signs of peacekeepers. His eyes glance over the carriage remains.
This fire was intentionally set. Why leave the bodies but set the carriage on fire?
Not sure, sir. Perhaps destroying evidence?
Maybe you're right. However, tell me, what house is that?
Counselor Kieran, Captain.
And whose daughter was supposed to be coming from Moonlight Academy this week? Keep looking. I would hate to be the one who can't confirm whether his daughter is dead or alive.
Right away, sir. Commander Jirek stands at the ground and furrows his brow. His eyes rest upon a set of footprints moving away from the scene. He follows the trail before a voice calls out, "Captain, we found a survivor!" Commander Jirek hurries over to the soldier. They stand before the form of Frederick. Frederick is bloody, the chest barely moving. The wound in his leg oozes blood. Frederick slowly opens his eyes to check around him. His gaze settles on Commander Jirek.
Where is she? You find her?
Harry, you, fetch the horses. We need to bring back this loyal servant to his master.
Peacekeeper 1 rushes off to find the horses. Commander Jirek leans down to meet Frederick's gaze.
Did you find her?
Do not worry. I'll find her. Rest easy knowing that.
I will not.
Frederick slowly loses consciousness as Commander Jirek steps away. He returns to the trail he was tracking. The one set become two. A grin curls at the corner of his face.
You three, take Watchman Frederick back to Counselor Kieran's house. The rest of you, on me.
Scene 5. Isteria wakes as the sunlight streams into the hut. She groans as she sits up, taking in the space around her. Her eyes go to the chest. There's a look of curiosity before she shakes her head. She straightens her clothes and exits the room. Alda sits patiently at the entrance of the hut.
Oh, Hysteria, good morning. We thought you weren't going to wake up at all.
Good morning, Alda. I have been told I'm a heavy sleeper. Where's...
Zeigler out with the young ones, teaching some of the newer ones how to fish. He'll be back before long.
Ah, I see.
Come on, I'll introduce you to the ladies and get you some food.
Alda slowly stands and winces.
Is everything all right?
It's all good. I twisted my old ankle last night walking back to the hut. Those roots just seem to appear out of nowhere.
I can help with that. May I?
Sure, these old bones could use it.
Isteria hurries back to the other side of the curtain and brings out her bag. Glass vials clink as she digs around. Alda peeks over with a curious eye. Isteria pulls out a round container and opens it. With one swish, she begins to scoop out a clear salve. As she spreads the salve along the ankle, she begins to speak an incantation quietly. The salve begins to glow as Alda watches in amazement. Isteria pulls away as the glowing fades. Alda stares at her wide-eyed.
That should help a little bit.
Where'd you learn to do that?
The Moonlight Academy. My professors believe that I have a natural magical ability.
That's a mighty fine gift. You up for more of that?
After I eat something, I can try.
While I don't have magical powers, I do have the power of cooking. Come, child, let's get you something to eat.
Alda loops Asteria's arm in hers and leads the two out of the hut towards the campfire at the center of camp. Around mid-morning, Zsolt returns with the children who bring their freshly caught fish to their mothers. He notices a boy trying to practice with his bow, so comes alongside him, giving him pointers. Isteria watches the scene and turns to Alda.
If you do not mind me asking, how did you come here?
I used to run a tea shop in the city. Taxes got so high I could barely eat. Had to sell the shop just to afford to eat a few more weeks.
I am so sorry.
What can you do? Here at last I have food and a roof over my head and people to care for.
Speaking of, is Zsolt your family?
He is now. Zsolt came to our little community about 6 months or so ago. He's a good young man. However, life hasn't been kind to him. He tries not to let it show, but it gets to him at times.
Zsolt watches as the young boy raises his bow and fires, and makes it onto the target. The two share a moment of joy, and Isteria watches, the smiles on their face, as a smile begins to grow on her own.
He hides it well.
Zsolt notices the two women watching him. He jogs over to them.
You two weren't talking about me, were you?
Yeah, don't be nosy. When were you going to tell me that you found a healer?
I didn't know.
Well, we did not have much time for introductions.
No, not really.
Get cleaned up. You smell like river water, young man.
Been told that my whole life, Alda.
He enters his quarters and sits in silence. His eyes land on the chest. A low, scraping sound. Zsolt pulls the chest towards him and lifts the lid. Inside are memories of another life. Gold and copper coins from the city, a flyer with Zolt's face on it, and a medallion. Zsolt lifts the medallion into the light. It is the symbol of the Watchman. A memory takes hold. A young Zsolt in ragged clothes stands at the gates of the training grounds. An eager eye watches the warriors take part in their daily exercises. And young Zsolt follows along, a stick in hand. It shifts to Zsolt as a teenager, wearing the Watchman medallion around his neck, standing proudly in front of the people. They cheered the new class ready to take on the world. Finally, Zsolt, and not far from the present moment, his hands hover over the body of a woman in fine clothes. His breath grows quick and panicked. Serves us right for trusting someone in the slums.
Yes, believe me.
You had your chance. Camera cuts back to the present, and Zsolt throws the medallion across the room with a growl. Scene 6. The small community of the treetops gather around the fire. They share a meal and conversation. Isteria watches the children chase each other around while the adults chat. Zsolt grabs his bowl and sits next to her. One of the girls runs up and hands Isteria a flower. Isteria hugs the girl and she runs away with a giggle.
You seem to be fitting in well.
It's not hard in a place like this. Everyone has treated me so kindly.
I wish it wasn't like this for them. They had homes in the city before this. They shouldn't have been trying to survive out here.
When I get back to the city, I will talk to my father, and maybe...
Sure, and the skies will rain down sweets made of caramel and chocolate. I tried to make changes, and it didn't work.
Zsolt hangs his head and begins to eat. Isteria places a hand on his arm.
Listen to me, Zsolt. You and your people have done so much for me. If there's anything I can do to help, I will.
Isteria and Zsolt share a look of understanding. Above them, a whistle echoes. Everyone around the circle freezes.
What does that mean?
Someone's found the camp. Someone who isn't supposed to. Peacekeepers.
Another whistle rings out. A look of fear flashes over the faces of the small group. Alda hurries over to Isteria and Zsolt with a stern look on her face.
I'm sorry, Alda.
There's no time for that now. Go. We'll stall as much as we can.
Maybe I can try to talk to them.
They'll just accuse us of kidnapping you.
Alda gives Isteria's hand a squeeze before turning to Zsolt. She places a wrinkled hand on Zolt's cheek. Tears fill her eyes as she forces a smile to her lips.
Go, and good luck, my boy.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Alda. Come on.
Zsolt and Isteria hurry back to the hut for their supplies. Isteria watches as Zolt's empty the chest into his bag and pulls a medallion from under the rags. Isteria's eyes widen at the symbol.
Where did you get a Watchman medal?
Zsolt doesn't answer and instead pulls her out of the hut. They run for the woods until they are stopped by the sounds of guards approaching. Isteria turns back to watch. Peacekeepers pour into the camp. Children run for their parents. Alda stands before them, proud and defiant. The crowd of soldiers parts as Commander Jirek enters. His cold eyes survey the camp.
Evening. How can we help you? I do believe we have some stew left if you're hungry.
Well, no, madam. I do thank you for your hospitality, but we're looking for someone. A high-born woman by the name of Isteria Kieran. Her carriage was found destroyed not far from here.
Alda glances around the camp with a questioning look. The group shakes their head no.
Not ringing a bell.
Well, I hope you remember, because if you do not, Counselor Kieran will have your head for withholding information about his daughter.
Alda shifts her posture to maintain confidence.
Once again, I'm afraid we can't help you.
Well, you won't mind if we search the place then, do you? Soldiers, turn this place upside down if you must.
Alda and the company watch in horror as the soldiers ransack the community. Children begin to cry as parents pull them closer. Shouts of discontent and anger rise from the adults. From the shadows, Zsolt stares in anger. It's just rising and falling with each crash of destruction. And in a few
Nothing
moments,
here, sir.
the camp's destroyed. No, you're good.
Nothing here, sir.
Well, I suppose we shall be on our way then. Sorry for the inconvenience, but it was a pleasure.
It was our pleasure to host the city's finest.
Commander Jirek turns to go, but then suddenly turns on Alda. With a quick shove, Alda falls to the ground. The community cries out in protest.
How dare you disrespect me? Just who do you think you are, woman?
Someone who's tired of hiding. I've still got some fight left in me.
Commander Jirek draws his sword. As the blade rises, an arrow lands at the foot of Commander Jirek. Zsolt steps out from the shadow, a new arrow trained on Commander Jirek.
Leave her alone.
Commander Jirek stops and acknowledges Zsolt. His eyes widen in recognition.
So, this is where you've been hiding out, traitor.
The only traitor here is you.
Commander Jirek glances between Zsolt and Alda. He yanks Alda to her feet.
Let this be a lesson to you all for harboring traitors.
Commander Jirek thrusts his sword into Alda's body. The bow drops from Zolt's hand. He screams and charges for the commander. He pulls a small blade from his side. Isteria watches from the tree line. Her eyes find the fire pit. She frantically digs around in her bag as Commander Jirek sends Zsolt into a retreat.
Oh, where are you?
Her fingers grab a vial of green liquid. In a few panic moments, she mutters calculations underneath her breath. She steps out just enough to make the throw. And in that moment, Zsolt lets out a scream. Commander Jirek's sword slices across his chest. He stumbles backwards, Asteria's eyes widen in fear.
You don't deserve to live, boy.
Like you don't deserve to have that badge.
Commander Jirek growls and raises his blade to strike. Over his head, the vial flies and lands in the fire. Boom! Lands in the fire. Boom! Green gas fills the space. The sounds of coughing and gasping fill the air. Zsolt rises and begins to stumble towards the woods. Isteria meets him halfway. She pulls him in, and with the cloud as their escape, they dive deeper into the forest. When Commander Jirek can see again, Zsolt is gone, and he lets out a roar of anger.
Wait, can I let out a roar right now?
Absolutely, go for it!
I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth if I have to! Do you hear me? To the ends of the earth!
I love it so much.
Amazing.
Y'all are killing it. I'm fine. Oh.
Love it.
Okay.
Amazing.
All right. Time for scene 7, aka my favorite scene, for no particular reason.
For reasons. For reasons.
For a reason. Okay. Sorry, I just saw Pure Struggle's comment. Focus. This is serious, Ruth. Zsolt and Isteria dash through the forest, branches snapping under their feet. There's no clear sense of where they are going, just to get as far away as possible. Zsolt spots a cluster of stone. Zsolt leads Isteria down the slope and into a series of abandoned stone buildings. Long ago, they were once part of a greater castle or manor house. Zsolt finds an outcropping in the stone. The stone remains of an underground cellar. The two crawl down and collapse breathless. Zsolt shifts his weight and lets out a groan of pain.
Here. Sit back. Let me look at that wound.
I'm fine.
You're not.
Sorry. It's fine. It's fine. Isteria glares at Zsolt until he complies. She reaches into her bag and lights a candle. She begins to pull out several vials and begins her work. She pulls out one such vial and hands it to Zsolt.
Drink this.
And what exactly is it?
Something to numb the pain.
Zsolt raised the bottle to his lips and drinks. His face contorts with the taste of hard liquor. He places it back on the ground and sighs. With her help, Zsolt lays down on the cold stone. Sarah brings the candle closer to his chest. The wound is caked now in dirt and debris.
This cut is deeper than I thought. It's going to take time.
Do what you must.
Sarah begins to clean the wound, while Zsolt winces in pain. Once clean, she pours another liquid onto her hands and rubs it together. Isteria places her hand over the wound, speaking an incantation. The magic falls from her fingertips into the wound, stitching it closed. Zsolt reacts to the sudden healing, his face scrunched up in pain, but a few minutes later, Isteria pulls away. She set to work wrapping the wound, more salve and bandages, and Zsolt watches in quiet admiration. When it's all over, she leans back against the wall, taking deep breaths. The healing took more out of her than she realized. Zsolt quietly clocks it, but says nothing.
It's the best I can do for now. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Thanks. So, is this what a counselor's daughter learns at the Fancy Academy? Like peasants in the woods?
Not quite, but it is helpful now.
Where did you learn that healing stuff and magic?
Some was learned, and some considered natural. My mother had magic. I got it from her. Father thinks it's a novelty. He is more of a numbers fellow, being the trade counselor.
They like those magic types for the city, don't they?
Yes, but it is hard to find out you have a gift that could have helped the person you loved most. I was early in my training when my mother died of the plague.
Zsolt studies Asteria's face as she gazes off into space.
I'm sorry.
She turns away. Silent tear streaks down her face. She composes herself and turns back.
My professors saw my gifting and pushed for me to grow in it. Father was hesitant about the idea, but he's proud of the progress I've made.
So, just to get more comfortable with a sigh.
My turn. Why did Commander Jirek call you a traitor?
A somber gaze comes over Zolt's face.
Because I failed. I was given an assignment as a watchman, and I failed.
Was there not a formal investigation?
You're kidding. Why have an investigation when you can pin it on the kid from the slums? He's clearly not so good. It's a quick case.
Have you ever tried to prove your innocence?
No.
Zolt shifts again and lets out a small groan. Isteria takes off her cloak and lays it on him.
Thanks.
Isteria thinks quietly to herself while the sounds of the night fill the air.
When we get back to the city, I will talk to my father. He's on the council. I could convince him to take your case to them.
Zolt sits up with surprise, but quickly realizes it was not a good idea. Isteria helps Zolt resettle.
You'd actually do that for me?
You saved my life twice now. I am a woman of my word.
Then I guess you've got a deal, city girl.
Zolt smiles and closes his eyes. Soon sleep takes him. Isteria watches it just rise and fall like clockwork. Soon sleep finds her. She nestles down next to Zolt. Scene 8. Zolt wakes, slowly rising to his feet. As he rearms himself, he glances down at the sleeping Isteria. He places the cloak back over her and makes his way out of the hiding spot. Sometime later, sunlight pours in through cracks in the stone. Asteria's eyes glint in the light. She slowly sips up and notices Zolt isn't beside her. Her cloak is back on her. She looks out at the opening. Zolt sits by a small fire. An animal is roasting over it. His head turns to the sound of her movement, and he smiles.
Good morning. I have rabbit and berries for your dining pleasure. I figured you could use the extra sleep.
Thanks. How are you feeling?
Nothing I can't handle. Here.
Zolt holds out a handful of blackberries. Isteria takes it eagerly and eats. Zolt turns the rabbit over the spit. Birds call and the crackling fires are all that is heard. Isteria stares into the fire as she eats. However, the evenings of last night are racing in her mind. She sees Commander Jirek's sword and Alda and the screams of the treetops shrouded in green smoke.
I am so sorry about Alda. It's my fault.
Her hands began to shake. Zolt slides next to her and takes her hand in his.
Don't do that to yourself. It's a dangerous road. If it wasn't you, it would have been someone else.
Isteria nods and pulls her hands away.
Is that how you have always been treated? The way Commander Jirek treated you?
There's always been some tensions. However, after the plague, people grew fearful. Peacekeepers took advantage of it. Started collecting more Jews than required and making people fear them.
Didn't anyone fight back?
Some did. None that lasted long.
Oh.
I was the son of a ferryman. Becoming a watchman was the way I thought I could help my people. Turns out I was wrong.
Zolt turns his attention back to the spit. And he carefully takes the meat off it, splits it with Isteria.
Although, some of that screen stuff you had last night would have helped. What was it?
Just a simple chemical reaction. The powder reacts to the heat and causes extra smoke. Nothing harmful. I have taken many alchemy classes to learn how to quicken healing. You learn other fun stuff too.
I thought with the green.
It's just a bit of flair on my end. Make them think it's more dangerous than it is.
Very tricky. I like it. You got more?
A girl does not reveal all her secrets.
Kinky.
Alda from the don't calm down.
I can't even.
I'm glad we're having fun, guys. Whew. I swear, my room is very hot right now. It is not because
I love it so much.
I'm loving this so much. All right,
Oh my god.
let's get back to it.
Oh my god. That was great.
Yes.
Now I have to be serious.
No, I love this quote. Alda is forced coaching Obi-Wan, so calm down.
You won't even find me a switch up here in heaven. Get fucking back.
Oh my god. That's great. That's so great. Hey, we did kind of need a bit of a giggle break.
Yeah, we did. Man,
We needed it.
sorry for all the people who like Alda, I guess. Or Alda.
Oh yeah, I died. I'm sorry, y'all.
They need to
Back from
switch
that
up in
one.
heaven here.
Yeah, Virgo, not a good idea probably eating while you're trying to listen to this.
Probably not.
Alright.
I just thought I wasn't drinking anything when you said it.
I was.
Oh
I was very close to having energy drink all over my monitor.
This just needs to turn into our own version of like Critical Role, you know?
Yes.
Yes, we need a sequel for this.
Listen, I want it. There is plans for this. I will tell you my plans once we're done reading, because I have plans for this.
Yes.
All right.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's go to scene number 9, and actually it has one of my favorite lines I've ever written in my entire life in the scene.
Love it. Who says it?
Oh, you'll find out. Scene 9. I almost said chapter 9. What am I doing tonight?
Not look, sweetheart.
Okay. Oh, I know! It's bad. The great city of Slowness. It's as a beacon of splendor and light amidst the forest. Tall pillars of iron and stone reach toward the heavens. A series of fine buildings look down upon a thriving marketplace. And the camera zooms in on one of the finer neighborhoods in the city. And then a simple, elegant manor house. Zooming in further is an office, where we see Counselor Vikor Keiran. Pacing at his desk, his sultan pepper hair is ruffled and his clothes wrinkled. It's clear he hasn't slept much. Standing off to the side of him is Commander Jirek, dressed in his uniform.
Counselor, I've got every contact looking for her. I swear by the gods, we will find her.
Not a trace of her?
Sadly, there was no trace of her at the scene. My soldiers were diligent in their search.
Counselor Kieran props himself on his desk with a sigh.
Tell me, how many days could she have survived?
Sir, I don't think that's...
Give me the numbers.
Counselor, if I may be so bold to say, your daughter is quite capable. You should be proud.
Counselor Kieran sighs. His eyes land on the calendar. His face crunches in calculation.
Counselor, please do not put yourself through that.
Jirek, are you a father? Do you have children?
Sadly, no, Counselor, I am not.
Then until you are a father, do not lecture me on what thoughts I should be having. In the meantime, go find my daughter.
Of course, sir. However, I also have a development that needs your...
The doors of the study burst open. Isteria stands breathless. Her eyes lock on Victor. He sees her, his eyes widen in shock. And Victor runs forward. Isteria meets him halfway, and the two embrace with tears in their eyes.
Father!
Isteria! Oh, look at you. Are you hurt?
I am fine, Father, I promise.
Isteria lets go of her father and stands behind her for a moment. She motions for Zsolt to move forward. He enters from the hallway.
This is Zsolt. He came to my aid and helped me get back to you. Zsolt, this is my father, Counselor Vikor Keiran.
Zsolt stiffens at the name, but bows before speaking.
Counselor, it's an honor.
Thank you for keeping my daughter safe. Whatever you need, it's yours.
Thank you, Counselor, but I need to go. My friends need me. We've suffered a great loss and I need to get back to them.
Victor holds out a hand to Zsolt, and Zsolt cautiously takes it.
Of course. You look familiar, young man. Have we met before?
Zsolt pulls away.
No, sir. If you'll excuse me, I must go at once. Thank you.
Zsolt bows to them and turns to leave the room. Commander Jirek steps out of the shadows of the office. Isteria backs away from him, with a growing look of panic on her face.
Counselor, thank the gods your daughter is safe. Hello, Zsolt. Ferryson.
Zsolt stops in his tracks. A series of emotions flash on Zolt's face. Fear, anger, regret, and 3 peacekeepers enter the room, their weapons trained on Zsolt. He turns towards Commander Jirek.
No one's getting hurt this time. I surrender.
Zsolt holds up his hands. Commander Jirek walks towards Zsolt. With a swift kick, Commander Jirek forces Zsolt to his knees. The peacekeepers search Zsolt for any weapons. They quickly bind his hands. Isteria starts for Zsolt, but Victor holds her back.
Commander Jirek, what is the meaning of this?
Apologies, Counselor, but we have found the culprit of Madame Lyra Nieven's death. He thought hiding away would pardon him. I promise that the full hand of justice will be upheld, sir.
What is he talking about, Zsolt?
Zolt's eyes lock with Isteria as she pulls herself from her father's grasp. Seeing her face breaks something inside of Zsolt. He quickly drops the connection.
Isteria, I'm sorry.
Move!
Commander Jirek pulled Zsolt to his feet, and Isteria watches as tears fill her eyes as Commander Jirek and the peacekeepers drag Zsolt from the room. Scene 10. Isteria stands in the empty door frame numb. Victor comes alongside her and places an arm around her and pulls her close.
To think you were with that monster. Thank the gods you made it back safely.
He was not a monster when I knew him. What's going to happen to him now?
His case will go to Madame Lamont, the law counselor. She will then decide his fate. If he's smart, he will plead guilty.
What if he's telling the truth?
What was that?
What if he is not guilty? What if he did not kill her?
Isteria?
The Zsolt I met would not have taken a life so carelessly.
The report named him. He was Lyra's watchman, and it was his responsibility to protect her. He did not.
Isteria pulls away from her father.
And you just trust the words of Commander Jirek?
Commander Jirek was there when it happened. Who else would I believe? Surely not the man who ran at the first accusation, whose blade was sticking in her chest?
I do not trust Commander Jirek. How can you?
While I do not always agree with Jirek, he does his duty well, something that Ferryman's son did not live up to.
If Zsolt had not shown up, I would have been dead. He was there when the caravan was attacked. He brought me home safely at the risk of his own life.
And Lyra is dead because of him, my friend, in case you have forgotten. If this is how she gets justice, then I will gladly accept it.
Victor returns to his desk and Isteria follows him.
Lyra was my family too. I want justice for her just as much as you do, Father, but she would not want it this way.
And what would you have me do? Overthrow the way Slona has run for centuries for one man? For a murderer, no less?
Maybe the way things have been done needs to change. I have seen the people who suffer most from the laws that have been made.
Isteria, it's out of my hands.
It is not, Father.
Enough!
Isteria backs away from Victor. More tears streaming down her face, and she races out of the room. Victor, realizing when he's done, drops into his chair with a sigh. I promise, guys, it's gonna get better. Okay.
Put him to the sword. Put him to the blade.
I'm dead, so I don't know if I believe you. Okay, Ruth. Okay.
I know he's a bad boy, Isteria, but you'll get over it.
It's not a phase, Dad!
Oh my god. I love him, Daddy.
What's that one audio?
Alda. Yeah.
That one audio in D&D talk of just like, he is not the love of your life, he's just a paladin.
He is not the love of your life, he's just a ranger. Hit him with a fireball.
He is not the love of your life, he's just a depressed Aragorn.
Listen, I feel like Aragorn's already kind of depressed, though.
Extremely depressed.
Extremely.
Oh my god. Y'all, listen, I promise, it's gonna get... this is one of those ones where it's like that third act where
We're almost
it's
there.
gonna look really bleak, but I
We got
promise,
this. We're good.
the good stuff is coming.
We're good.
Okay. I just almost nearly spat my water out all over my computer, so... Dude. But
It wasn't me this time.
It's not a phase, Dad was perfect.
Oh,
It was great. It was so good.
all right. We've got
Don't
three
read
more
the
scenes,
comments. Don't
people.
look at
Let's
the
do it.
comments. We're gonna break her. We need her to
You
keep
broke me earlier, guys. Okay. All right. Serious. This is serious stuff here. People's lives are in the balance.
Lock the fuck in.
All right, let's go.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Whew. Scene
go.
11. Moonlight streams through a small pocket into a dark cell. In the dim light, Zsolt sits on his knees, hands chained in front of him. His right eye is swollen shut. Bruises are forming along his face and shoulders. Down the hall, a door opens. Several sets of footsteps come closer. Light grows in the hallway leading to him. He struggles to sit up more. Footsteps stop outside his door, and he winces at the light. 2 minutes. That's all. The sound of a full coin purse dropping into a hand. The cell door opens. A figure shrouded in shadows enters and removes the hood. Zolt's eyes widen.
Asteria, what are you doing?
Isteria walks forward quietly and kneels in front of Zsolt.
Keeping my promise. Oh, gods. What did they do to you?
Her fingers gingerly trace around the swollen eye, but he pulls away.
Don't try to fix me. I'll be alright.
Zsolt grows quiet. He looks Isteria in her eyes.
I should have told you when you asked. I'm sorry.
You knew who I was, didn't you?
Councillor Naven, she spoke so highly of you. She was so proud of you, Isteria, and I'm sorry. I want you to know I did everything.
I need to know. Did you kill her? Did you kill Lyra?
Zsolt breaks eye contact with Isteria and lets out a long sigh.
I did not. I would never hurt her, I swear, by the gods, if I could go back.
Stop. Please. A dangerous road, right?
Time's up. Cell door opens. Isteria takes Zolt's hands. She gives him a squeeze and rises. Isteria takes one last look before placing the hood over her head, and Zsolt hangs his head as the cell door slams shut. Scene 12. Scene opens in the Kieran Manor House gardens. Isteria quietly closes the gate behind her. She creeps towards the back door of the house. Movement near a bench catches her attention. Frederick sits up with a lantern at his side. Bandages cover his upper body and leg.
My ears still work just fine, young lady. A father may not know all your tricks, but I do.
A look of relief comes across Asteria's face. She runs over to him and wraps her arms around him. Frederick is surprised at the force of it at first, but accepts it with a smile.
Frederick, you're okay.
Aye, my lady. Oh, I'm still on the mend, so please be gentle.
Sorry.
Asteria moves the lantern through the stone path to join Frederick on the bench.
So, what you sneak off to this time?
The prison.
What, yeah, that's a new one.
I went to see Zsolt.
The boy who's responsible for Councillor Neven's death. Gods above Hysteria.
I had to know. How can someone who I saw be so kind and brave do something like killing Lyra?
When people are pushed to their limits, they'll do things that never consider.
I just cannot reckon what I've seen and experienced to what everyone else believes about him. I promise to help him.
The Slonian Council will not go easy on him. Madame Lyra was one of their own. The Watchman will want their reputation restored. The whole city is against that boy Hysteria.
I cannot go back on my promise.
I didn't say it was impossible, but you're going to need help. Your father's help.
Frederick rises to his feet and motions for Asteria to join him.
What if he does not believe me? He thinks I'm betraying Lyra for believing Zolt's story.
Oh, Hysteria, he's your father. If you speak the truth to him, he'll listen. If you don't, I'll knock some sense into him.
The scene shifts to Viktor's study as he reads over papers. At the sound of the door opening, he looks up from his work. He sees Asteria and Frederick enter and notices Asteria's face. Asteria tells the story of how she made it home, and Viktor listens intently. After she finishes, he finally speaks.
If you're wrong about this, it could destroy us forever. Our name, our legacy, everything.
I know, but I cannot just let this go. I saw what he did for those people, how he defended them. And
As the trade counselor, I would say that you're completely foolish and borderline treacherous. It's a lost cause. However, as your father, I say start digging. If you want to fight this, you must have a strong case. Make sure your facts are solid.
A look of relief washes over Asteria as she hugs her father.
thank you.
Pan to the window and see a series of shifting scenes with no audible dialogue. Asteria enters a large town hall-like building. She's ushered into a room full of documents by a robe-clad figure. Several stacks of paper are handed to her, and she begins to shift through. Frederick enters the tavern, where many of its patrons wear the sign of the Watchman. He motions the bartender and passes the note. Bartender takes it looks with a quick glance and nods. Frederick sits back with a drink. And the scene returns to Isteria, slumped over a desk in her room, papers littered all around her. A hand shakes her awake. Frederick stands over her, a worried look on his face.
Frederick, I'm not at school. Let me sleep.
Isteria, get up. We must go. Commander Jirek called the council into a special hearing for Zsolt's case. Your father just sent word.
Isteria jumps to her feet.
Oh no.
She bolts out the door, collecting her papers with Frederick's help, and they race down the street. Scene 13. Scene opens on a courtroom. The Selonian Council, 7 members in total, represent the 7 heads of the city. Coin, farming, trade, health, law, education, and religion. 6 of the 7 sit up at balcony above the judge's bench. There, Law Counselor Moira Lamont sits. Before them stands Zsolt, bound in chains. Commander Jirek stands off to the side, watching the faces of the council.
Thank you, Commander Jirek, for your testimony. Zsolt Ferryson, do you swear by the council and the gods to tell the truth?
The camera pans to Zsolt, chains around his hands and feet. There's a mix of exhaustion and determination written on his face.
I swear by all the gods and this council to tell the truth.
Is it true that you were the Watchman assigned to Counselor Lila Navon?
Yes, that is true.
Is it true that you were present at the night of her death?
Yes, I was.
Is it true that Commander Jirek was also present?
Yes, Counselor, he was. Commander Jirek came shortly after dinner.
Describe the events that followed.
Commander Jirek and the Councillor Naven were discussing the upcoming policy she was proposing to the council, one that would help the less fortunate citizens of the city. Commander Jirek was not for it.
Commander Jirek rises to his feet.
Honorable Counselor, the plan Nievin was proposing would send the city into chaos.
Commander Jirek, I have received your testimony. I will call upon you if I need your input.
Commander Jirek nods and returns to his seated position. Moira Lamont motions for Zsolt to continue.
After they talked, Commander Jirek offered Councillor Naven some wine. She agreed and they drank, and
Zolt's face falls. The memories of that night fill his head. It takes a bit of fortitude to maintain his composure.
Suddenly, she dropped, unable to breathe, and I called for help, but it was too late. She was gone by the time she dropped to the floor, and when I looked up, Jirek was standing over us, blade in hand, so I drew mine.
Is that how you explain why your blade was found in Counselor Navon's chest?
He disarmed me, and I feared for my life, so I ran.
So you admit to abandoning your post?
Yes, I was scared. However, I did not leave her to die alone. I held her hand as she breathed her last, and words cannot convey my regret and sorrow for the loss of your friend and colleague.
On top of a traitor, you're a coward too. How they even let you become a watchman is appalling.
The courtroom doors open with a thud. Isteria stands breathless. She begins to enter the chamber, followed by Frederick. Zsolt sees her and gives her a small smile.
This is a private council meeting. Identify yourself or be removed from these proceedings.
I am Madam Isteria Kieran, and I come to speak on behalf of Zsolt Ferryson.
Commander Jirek laughs and approaches her.
Is this how how you raise your daughter, Counselor Kieran. No respect for authority? If the Counselor allows, I will escort this distraction out of our pursuit.
Vikor Keiran rises from his seated position and approaches the edge of the balcony where he and the other counselors sit. His posture and his face are one of steel.
Lay a hand on my daughter and find out what happens.
Counselor Kieran, decorum.
Frederick's hand hovers over his weapon. Commander Jirek takes a step back with hands up.
My apologies to the council, but I have evidence that is crucial to this case.
Bring it forward.
Isteria brings a vial from her bag and sets it before Moira Lamont.
Honorable Counselor, this is a vial of Serena. In small doses, it is used as a relaxing agent. It has medicinal uses in healing circles. However, in large doses, it can stop a heart.
How is this relevant to the case?
The signs that someone has ingested it are yellowing in and around the eyes and a blue tint on the finger and toenails. Those same markers were documented in Counselor Naven's death report. It was not the stab wound that killed her.
Murmurs fill the chamber, and unease takes the room. Commander Jirek's eyes narrow momentarily.
It is also used to drug criminals into confession, a truth serum, if you will. However, Serena is in this city is found in two places: the healer's ward and the gatehouse. According to these records, a vial of Serena was missing the night Counselor Neven died.
Counselors, may I ask, why are we entertaining this? Madam Kieran has offered next to no evidence for her claim.
Isteria pulls out a stack of papers from her bag and sets them before Moira Lamont.
My evidence, Counselor. Documents pulled from the gatehouse to back my claims. Commander Jirek's signature next to a request for a vial of Serena.
Moira Lamont looks over the documents with a keen eye. Isteria catches Zolt's eye and gives a nod of reassurance.
Forgive me, Counselor. Please, tell me you are not actually going to believe this girl and her so-called evidence.
Is it true that you ordered a vial of Serena the night of Madame Lyra's murder?
Yes, I did.
And for what purpose was it used?
A look of realization comes across Zolt's face. He turns to face Commander Jirek.
The wine. It wasn't what she normally drank. It was different, and I didn't know why. And you were insisting that she tried it. You bastard! You poisoned her!
As Zsolt speaks, Commander Jirek grows impatient and finally snaps at Zolt's final sentence.
Lies! All of it! Counsel! Since when did we entertain the testimony of children? Your kind deserves to rot. Lyra was a fool not to see.
Order! I will have order in this chamber.
I would be careful. People who think folks like him deserve a place in this world are fools. You would wind up dead by the very people you wish to help. I would hate to see you become another Madame Lyra.
Is that a threat or a promise? Will you do to me what you did to Alda?
As he speaks, he slowly approaches Isteria, shouts from the counselors for order erupt. Frederick puts himself between Commander Jirek and Isteria.
I work too damn hard. Oh, the script went down.
Oh no.
Oh no, come on!
Come on!
Oh no, where did it go? Oh my god. It literally
33.
it scrolled all
Page-
the way up to scene 1 and now I gotta
Oh
scroll
no!
all the way down.
33.
Alright, stay in
Page
the moment,
33.
everybody!
Page 33.
33. Okay.
33.
I just have to say
I have it highlighted.
Climax. You know what I mean?
Come on!
Okay.
Technical difficulties.
It was 30.
Do you want me to go back to the line before, Monty?
Yes, please.
As he speaks, he slowly approaches Isteria, shouts from the counselors for order around. Frederick puts himself between Commander Jirek and Isteria.
I worked too damn hard for that to be lost to those who did not deserve it. Counselor Neiman's plans would have destroyed everything I worked for, that you put me in charge for, that many of my men worked for. He had to be stopped. I was willing to see it done.
Silence fills the chamber at the final words. Commander Jirek's face slackens in realization of what he has done.
Seeing this council has received a confession for the crime, I call for the following: the immediate release and reinstatement of Zsolt Ferryson, and the arrest of Commander Jirek for the murder of Counselor Lyra Navon. All those in favor?
Every hand of the council raises in favor.
By the vote of this council, the motion stands.
The chains are quickly taken off Zolt's hands and placed on Commander Jirek's. He struggles against them as he is led away. Zsolt stands in shock for a moment before walking over to Isteria, and tears fill his eyes as he approaches. There's a moment of hesitation before he hugs her. Zsolt mouths a quiet thank you, and Isteria nods with a smile. The two breathe in a sigh of relief as Victor and Frederick come over to congratulate them. Last scene, let's go, everybody.
Come on! Almost there!
Scene 14. Inside the Kieran household weeks later. Isteria walks down a long hallway and she's dressed in fine clothes. From his study, exits Victor. He notices and walks to meet her.
My, what's happened to my little girl? She's become a fine young woman.
Father.
I know. I have something for you. Something I've wanted to give you for a long time.
Victor pulls out a small box from his pocket, and he holds it out to her. Isteria takes it gently and opens it. A golden chain with teardrop pendants sits inside.
It was your mother's. She told me to save it for a special occasion, and today felt like a good one.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Father.
I am so proud to have a daughter such as you. Thank you for standing up for what was right, even if no one else, including me, believes so. Here, allow me.
Isteria turns so that Victor can place the chain on her neck. She turns back to face her father and hugs him.
Thank you for believing me.
Always my girl. Now, go fetch the man of the hour.
Isteria nods and walks down the hallway to the last door on the left, and she knocks.
It's open.
Isteria enters as Zsolt fixes his Watchman uniform in a tall mirror. A sense of pride and relief over his face. He adjusts the cuffs of the jacket.
My, doesn't someone look official?
Who? I don't see anyone like that around here.
You look great. Hang on.
Isteria fixes a crooked lapel on Zolt's jacket.
There. All perfectly in place.
Thanks. I just got word that the folks from Tree Shops are going to be here, including a slightly cantankerous old woman.
Alda survived? Oh, thank the gods above. How?
I guess they must have found a healer. It's a miracle for sure.
Miracle indeed. She will be so proud to see you in uniform.
Zolt turns back to the mirror, kind of playing with his uniform as he looks.
Gods, I don't know why I'm so nervous. It's not the first time I've taken the oath.
Mother said that time changes us. You are not the same man you were when you first took it.
Suppose not.
With Frederick on the mend and my heightened role in the public eye, you were the only option I had in mind. I did not have to fight Father on it, so it was a win-win.
You being stubborn about something? No, certainly not.
Welcome to your future, Watchman Zsolt. You are stuck with me.
There are far worse fates, City Girl.
Both Zsolt and Isteria take each other in, and he brushes a stray strand of hair out of her face. And Isteria starts to turn, but Zsolt catches her arm.
Thank you. I don't have the words to say thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for not letting me die on that road.
Well, what kind of watchman would I be if I had?
Technically, you still have a ceremony to complete first. Then you'll be a watchman.
Fair point. Shall we?
Sunlight streaks into the room around them. They pull away from each other for a moment. Then Zsolt offers his arm to Isteria, and she takes it with a nod. The two exit the room, closing the door behind them. Fade to black. The end.
And I just have to say,
That's
in the
awesome.
words. And I just have to say, in the words of Mushu, I'm alive.
I live!